Hello, welcome back to my channel if you're new here. My name is Michelle and I have this channel called Shop and Tales where I share what I sell and what I buy secondhand and sometimes new with tags items on my Poshmark and eBay stores. So I started selling on eBay in 1999. They were relatively new, and then I took a mommy break and I started back up a decade ago. And so I've just been nonstop since, and I am a full-time reseller, meaning I do probably put in, I punch a clock pretty much. I can't say I work 8 hours a day because I'm answering questions throughout the day, sometimes at night. I've been known to answer a few questions in the middle of the night even. So I just love the flexibility that reselling gives me. And so last night I went thrifting and I found 20 items. Actually, I found 22 items. One was a bad buy, which needs to get returned today, which I'm going to show you at the end of the video, because even though I've been doing this so long, if I go into a thrift store or Goodwill right before closing, like an hour before closing, my mind is usually focused on, okay, I want to find X amount of items, and I'm not using my black light to make sure there's no stains and whatnot. So I am a little more careless, and you know what, we're not perfect and things happen, so you just give yourself a break. And I am going to return them. They were a pair of shoes. I spent $6. I am going to return them. Oftentimes though, I just redonate and I don't even bother with a return because it's just part of it, part of life, right? So I'm just going to show you the clothing. I just got done steaming the clothing. I'm going to insert that right now of me. I use a steamer and I steam everything that I buy secondhand. If it has stains, I will stain treat it. If it has holes, I will mend it. I try to be good at not picking up things that need a lot of work, but I don't mind. I like giving things a new home, a new chance. So, but yeah, I just use a handheld steamer. It's a Rowenda steamer, and I actually thrifted it for $15. It has a gallon water tank, which is nice, and I don't have to fill it up an hour. Every hour it needs to be filled, but normally it only takes me an hour. I can do about 40 items in an hour. And this was new with tags, but it still needed a steam. And this actually says no iron, but it was still terribly wrinkly. So I have definitely found, comment below what your experience has been. But I find that if I take clothes, pictures of clothes that are wrinkly, I'm looking to get maybe 10, 12, 15 tops, where if I take the time, it doesn't matter whether it's new with tags. If I take the time to steam it, then I'm looking at 25 to 30. So double the cost. So it's worth those few minutes, in my opinion, to take the time to steam the clothes. And so I just got done steaming. Let me lift you up here. And I just got done steaming all of these items. I'm getting ready to do a haul on them right now to show you them, and I didn't want you to see them all wrinkly. Down at my twin bed, and I brought a dozen pairs of shoes last night at the thrift store, and I cleaned them all up, and so I'm going to be sharing that in my video. Steaming the clothing, at least showing you about my steaming. And everything is steamed now, and I just got to detag it and then set up my lights. The lights that I use are these two bad boys, and I just got them on Amazon. I will link them in the description. Here we go. There's the brand. I'll link them in the description if you want to check them out. You don't have to have lights. For the past 2 years, I've actually haven't been using lights at all. I just use natural light. I'm staying right in front of my window. I'm using a spare bedroom for my workroom. I have a desk here. I have shelves, and I currently am sitting on 3,500 items, but only 1,500, I believe, are clothing. Or no, not even. 1,000 are clothing, and about 300 are shoes, and the rest is actually jewelry. And it doesn't take any room at all to store jewelry. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what I bought to resell. So this are the prices that my Goodwill charges, and it was a Goodwill here in North Carolina. They're all different. Every state I notice is different. I've currently sourced in 12 other states, and to be honest, North Carolina has it going on. I feel like if you are a reseller and you live in North Carolina, you are getting the best deals of the best prices. Okay, so these are Hilaras, and I think TikTok made these famous. There's the Hilara emblem, if you're not familiar with it. It looks like some waves maybe, and like a little circle. And these are the V ones. They're wide leg with a slit. I like them myself, but they're not my size. I generally only pick these up if they're in black. I have sold pink and red before, but I kind of sit on them. And you're looking to get like $25 for them. So it's not like big, it's more of a bread and butter sale. And I spent $5. Let me show you the tag, what that looks like. It does say Hilera. There are some really uncanny dupes. I think they're from Amazon. And sometimes I look at the tag and it doesn't say Hilera, but it's exactly the same tag, the same fabric, the same item, but it doesn't say Hilera. So unless Hilera stopped putting their name on their items, which I don't think they did. So yeah, I passed. Oh, and it doesn't have that. So, and that's what happened when I picked these up. I found a whole bunch. There were a couple other pairs of Hilera, but again, I do best with just black. So that is why I picked those up. And I'm just gonna hang them back up here. They're a size large. All right, and some more bread and butter items. I took a little bread and butter break, and I do use Vendu. That is in my description if you want to check it out, and that is just a virtual assistant. And I pay to have 125 listings a month, and when I took my breather this past month, I was not using 100, I wasn't even sourcing 125 items. I think I sourced like 15, 20 the whole month. So I've decided to go back to some bread and butter. My Goodwill uses these little tags. I don't know if yours does, and every week they change. It makes it very easy for us thrifters to go into the thrift store and just keep up with the color of the week, so it's not so overwhelming going through racks and racks and thousands of items. So Chico's, I pick up size 3. I try to just pick up size 3. I find that 2 sometimes sells, 1 never sells, 4 never sells, and size 0 never sells for me at Chico's. So this is kind of like a mixed media. This has like 2 different types of fabric. Very, very soft. It has a modal base. It's extra large. They use, like I said, vanity sizing. Size 3 is their XL. I love it myself. Very long tunic length and very well made. And if you have not been to the Chico's website recently, I will insert a little prices. The prices are not cheap. I mean, they're not terribly expensive, but they're not cheap. So this is another Chico's, and this is chambray. I love chambray. Again, I like this myself. Left open with some cutoff shorts or some, regular shorts or leggings and a little white tank underneath. It would look super cute. So I have not actually decided whether I was going to keep it or not, because I just did a closet clean out in my own personal closet, and so I don't know if I want to put anything back in it. So it is also a size 3, which is their size 16 XL. Very nice. Chambray Chico's top. And that is Chico's and Chaps are my 2 #1 brands that I sell on the weekly on Poshmark and eBay. And this time of year, a lot of florals like this, very country cottage, just very, very pretty and dainty. Peach blossoms and green. And this is their XXL. And this is their no iron, although I just got done steaming it. No iron blouse. And this brand does well for me if it is plus size. And plus size meaning 1X, XXL, 2X, and 3X. Moving right along with Chico's. This one, I just sold this last month, so I just replaced it pretty much in my closet. I had a red Chico's long sleeve button up, and it sold, and it's also, of course, size 3, cotton. And what I do find that I like better about Chico's than even Chaps is that they're more tailored. See these seams right here? These seams are going to kind of cinch in the waist, whether you tuck it in or leave it out like a tunic length. And it's a really nice touch. It's a little bit extra, a little attention to detail, having these seams right here to go into the waist. And again, on the back, the seams right here. So it's just not like a big bulky boxy fit, which of course some people like that, but not everybody. So I love that they have these options. And that is Chico's. Okay, this is a perfect example. Here's a Chaps one again, 2X. And again, this was something that I sold the same exact print. This was last year. And I don't know if it was the same size, 2X, but I sold this same shirt, and I know that I sold it for 30. So I just got another one to add to my closet for someone else new. But notice how this doesn't have, this is more of just a square boxy fabric, and it doesn't have that tailored look in the front or the back, which again, some people like. So they have both, which is nice. Another thing with this brand, I almost forgot, is that the ones that do the best for me are the ones with the contrast sleeves, because I think people like to, you know, roll up the sleeves to a 3/4 length or whatnot. And so you want to put contrast cuff in the title, because people people look for that. All right, here's another one. Maybe they belong to the same person. So this is also 2X, and this is yet another one that I sold before. And it also has this pinstripe cuffs. And it's just a red paisley print. Okay, Soft Surroundings is a brand I generally don't pick up unless it has a lot of embroidery, or if it's new with tags and it's a very good fabric, meaning 100% linen or silk. And this is Chartreuse, 100% silk, very, very long tunic length, or I think you could even use it for a beach cover up. And the reason why I picked it up is because 100% silk and new with tags. Very, very pretty. Back to Chico's. This was new with tags, and it's Chartreuse again, and it has that really nice tailored detailing right there, and that is why I picked that up. These retail, I think, for $59 or $69. This was the only piece that was new with tags that wasn't marked up. So my Goodwill, I guess, is just playing around with different prices. And I had some J.Crew Factory and some Banana Republic blouses that I didn't realize were marked up right here. They said $12.99. And when I got up to the cash register, the cashier was nice enough to say, hey, do you realize that it was 4? Do you realize these 4 pieces are marked up to $12.99? And I didn't. So I just passed on them because $12.99 is too much to pay. If it was something that I wanted for myself, then of course $12.99 is fine. But to flip for $20, $25, not fine. Because on eBay, I promote my listings, and they do take I think it's like a 30% commission with all the fees that you pay and taxes and whatnot. And then on Poshmark, it's 20% commission. So you got to account that if you're selling something for 20, you can't very well. I mean, you're going to get 18. No, you're not going to get 18. You're going to get 16. So you're going to get 16 and then throw in the $5 that you paid for it. If you live in North Carolina, then you're looking at $11. And $11, so you can't spend $12.99. Yeah, you would be paying someone else to buy it. So, okay, so this was a very good buy. I did pull comps. It is a vegan Guess Moto jacket. And I was at first on the fence. Usually every single jacket at my Goodwill is $6.99 and full-length coats are $9.99. But again, they're playing around with their prices as well. We all are. We're all in it to make a buck. You know, we're paying our items. We're not getting them free, like, you know, Goodwill anyways. We're not getting them free. You know, we're all trying to get a little profit. So this is a beautiful, beautiful, I mean, it feels really soft. When I first felt it, I thought it was real leather. And I had to look at the tag, but it has the corset there, the corset here, and in the back, like very traditional moto. And again, Guess, pleather. When I pulled comps, someone had a new one on eBay and it had the tag for $189, so I guess it retailed for $189. So looking at it that way, $10, you know, not that I'm going to get anywhere. I mean, I don't even think I'll get 100, but I'll be happy to get 50 or 60. But I will probably list it for 75, and who knows. All right, next are these I found in the jammies, and the jammies are $2.99. Except for bathrobes. I bought myself a bathrobe last night and it was $4.99. And I commented, hey, I thought, you know, pajamas and nightwear was $2.99. There's a sign there. They usually say $2.99. Why is this, you know, bathrobe? It was a vintage Cherokee, which was, I think, from Kmart, or was it Walmart? Cherokee. I'll put it right here because I'm curious. I'll Google it. But yeah, it was $4.99 and I liked it enough to, I mean, I just bought it for myself. But this was $2.99, and these, I'm not even sure if they're jammies. I don't feel like they're jammies. They're rayon. They are Vintage Express. This is the first time I've ever found Vintage Express. And something else, a little tidbit of information that maybe I'm late to the party and just didn't know. There's the Vintage Express tag, and it says Campaign International Express, size medium. And they do they have pockets? They have pockets. That's good. I probably should have checked that because a lot of people won't buy the things if they don't have pockets. And how do I know? Because people will just comment to me, hey, I would purchase this, but it doesn't have pockets. Or if I don't have that it has pockets in the listing, someone will say, hey, did you forget to say that it had pockets? And, you know, I'll go and check and, oh, no, it doesn't have pockets. Oh, okay, I'll pass. So obviously a lot of people, I mean, I've just recently decluttered all my leggings for the gym without pockets, because when I'm working out, if I don't have a pocket, where's my phone going, right? So these are vintage. I paid $2.99. I will probably only get $25. I mean, maybe 30, but I'll probably get $25. But they are kind of cottagecore. I will have to look up to see what the keywords are. Elastic waist, drawstring, full length, wide leg, and I picture those with either black or this corally color or even green, a fitted rib tank tucked in, and even with a blazer if you want to dress them up, or jimmies. But I was happy to see that. I was happy to find those. So, last clothing item, American Eagle. And these are American Eagle high rise. They have a little slight distress. I didn't Google image these, so I'm hoping that someone didn't do those on purpose, but they look pretty intentional to me. And I do love selling American Eagle. So I pay $5 for my American Eagle, and I usually get at least 25, but normally it's 30 or 35. And I think they retail for $69 to $70. I'll put it right here. Haven't been to their website in a while. So these are size 14 American Eagle outfitters and next level stretch. And they are the curvy, super high rise. They are jeggings. I know jeggings and skinny jeans are out, but they're so, they feel like leggings. They're so comfortable, and they don't look terribly skinny. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. But they're so soft, and they're in incredible condition. They're a size 14, which I did see an article that the average American woman that used to be size 14 is size 16 now. So I guess I'm pretty average, because that's my size. So these are just camo. Can't go wrong with camo. So those are my clothing items. And now I'm going to show you some shoes, one bag, and my bad buy. So I started cleaning these up. Okay, so the first thing that I found were these Uggs. I found two. Obviously, I found two. What am I saying? Found two. And of course, it's not boot season right now. And I am sitting on some sequence blue Uggs that I've had. These ones obviously don't, I mean, I'll get $25, $30. They don't do as good as like the Taz or like the mini boot that you can get over 50, you know. But I wanted to show you this because I stuff them when I bring shoes home, I stuff them, and I want to show you how I bought them, which is yuck. Look at all that. That's pretty nasty and gnarly. And that's the sticker from the Goodwill every week. Again, they put a different sticker, and that doesn't look like, if I just took a picture, and I see people on eBay and Poshmark, you know, they just leave it up to the people, to the buyers to clean it. So if I took a picture of these bottoms, I think I'd probably get $10 offers. And again, I paid $5.99. I paid $6 before tax and the commission. So if I sold them for $10, I'd probably make $1 or $2 profit, and that wouldn't be worth my time even cleaning them. So I wanted to show you the difference between just throwing it up any old way versus a clean one. So that is, I mean, it's not terrible. I didn't get in there with a toothbrush. I mean, I could, but I'm looking to get 30. I'm hoping to get 30 for them. Nope, that's not anywhere. That's just a little spot there. They're black. They're a good color. You want to make sure these stitching is really nice. It's not just glued on, because they do sell fakes. And yeah, that just says UGG. The ones that say Australia under them sell for a little more. And it's just the sweater. You want to make sure when you're picking them up, that's leather. You want to make sure that it actually has, you know, the button, because sometimes I see them where the button is no longer adhered to it, and that wouldn't be worth picking up. So yeah, so let's just do the comparison. You know, this is going to be better. I'll probably take a Clorox wipe. I won't go in there with a toothbrush, but I'll take a Clorox wipe. And I just stuff them. I have paper that I stuff them with to clean them and to take the picture. So that is what I have going on with that. And how do I clean them? I will have this linked in my description. I just use the Doc Martens Airwave Wonder Balm. And let me show you how it looks. I go through one of these like every other year. It comes with a little sponge. And you take the sponge out. And there you go. I got about half full. So this stuff is pretty dang amazing. I'll have it linked in my description. What do you guys use to clean your shoes, or do you not clean your shoes? So that's what I use. And it has that little sponge. I usually get around the corners on the sponge, but I do have this actual chamois rag. I think I got this on Amazon, that I like to dip in here and really, you know, buff it out. And you know, clean up all my leather shoes. Okay. This was also a new to me brand, and these are called Samuel Hubbard. They're size 12 wide, and I don't sell a whole lot of men's shoes, but when I do, I try to just stick with wide because I think men go to the secondhand market when they realized how much more wide shoes are retail than not wide. So this is an oiled leather. You could see the texture there. Oiled leather always has like imperfections. It's not going to be perfect. So oiled leather, I've only had one pair of oiled leather shoes, and that was many moons ago. The Birkenstock Mary Janes, I had a purple pair of those, and they were oiled leather, and they just kind of have that worn in look. And yeah, I mean, they still sell. Okay. So that's what these are. And I'm just noticing they have the Vibram soles. So that's going to be a plus. I want to put that in the title. And these retail for over $300. When I pulled comps, I was very surprised. Samuel Hubbard, and it was made fully grained leather, leather on the outside, leather in the inside, made in Portugal. I could smell the leather. And so I picked up those. And one of my best buys were these Ralph Lauren collection boots. I'll put how much they retail here. And they're just gorgeous. This is like that butter leather that it feels really nice. It feels really nice, butter leather. And yes, there is wear, but no one's gonna see that. You wanna look on the insides, make sure there's no scuff. The lady that wears Ralph Lauren collection wants to look good. She takes care of her appearance. And these are just little brown ankle boots, and they are size 37B. I'm gonna say, these look, and they're B, they look like they run narrow. 37B, I think that's probably going to be like a 6.5, not a 7, a 6.5. And they just, it's purple label. If you're not familiar with Ralph, I mean, we all know what Ralph Lauren, but I don't even know if you can, yeah, you could see that. So the purple label is the highest tier of Ralph Lauren to my knowledge, and they retail for the most. And I only find this, the purple label of Ralph Lauren about once to twice a year. The most I've ever gotten for this was a blazer that I sold a few years back on eBay for $500. And I sold it for $500, and it had a $2,500 price tag. It was new with tags. And yeah, $2,500, you know, you can't freak out and say, oh my gosh, it's new with tags. You know, someone paid $2,500, I could sell it for $1,000 or $1,500. That's not the way it works, because as soon as it leaves the store, it's no longer new, apparently. That's what most of us say. So I was happy to get the 500. So yes. How much will I get for these? I'm hoping to get 100. I paid $6, and I already cleaned them all up. I just got to take the sticker off and go from there and find like stock photos and how much they retailed for and such. All right, another new to me brand, and someone had some really dirty feet. I tried to just use a cloth to get that off. Someone had some really dirty feet. I feel like these went to a these are kind of I don't want to say bad girl, but they're very heavy. The brand is Inch 2, and I already went to the website. They retail for $349. When I first saw them, I thought they were like a version of Doc Martens. They're heavy like Doc Martens. They're really heavy. I'm gonna say this is like a 2-pound one shoe. One shoe, 2 pounds. I think that these are probably 4 pounds. So these are genuine leather. They're very, very heavy. I mean, obviously you're not going to wear socks with these, so I think that's the issue, but I'm going to need probably a used toothbrush or something. A razor. No, not a razor because that's leather. I'm going to have to get that off of there. I cleaned the outside already. I tried to clean the inside. I sanitized the inside. That's why I'm holding them. But they are, again, Inch 2, handcrafted in Portugal, size 41, which is their size 11. What I didn't know about them when I first bought them is that they also came with an ankle strap, so that you could have this plus an ankle strap. I'll put the picture here. They'll still sell without the ankle strap, because I put a sock in last night because they're my size, and I slipped my foot in with my sock, and they don't fall off or anything. This in itself is tight and sturdy enough, but I don't know if someone is going to think that's kind of weird looking. I guess not. I don't know. I mean, they could even cut it off, I guess. But anyways, I am going to hope to get $75 for these, even without this, because they do retail for $349, and they are pretty beautiful. I mean, they're really, really cool shoes. So again, unfortunately, someone wore them barefoot, and they had dirty feet, and It is what it is. Okay. My next goodbye, actually might be better than that, or just along the line, are these Buckleys, these Birkenstock Buckleys. Now these are the second pair that I found this year. The first pair that I found, which was a few months ago, sold within a week, and I think I got 70 for them. These retail for $159. These are a smaller size, but they will still sell. They're size 36, which I think is their size 5. And Birkey's makes, Birkey's makes good quality shoes. I don't know if you could see that they say Birk on the bottom there. The fakes do not. Not yet anyways. They do make fakes. So with Birkenstocks, you really want to make sure that this cork is not coming undone from the suede. That's the main thing, because they are kind of notorious of doing that, because these are the type of shoes you don't want to just like leave outside. They kind of break down with temperature, like, you know, hot, cold, you know, you've got to have them in, what am I trying to say? I don't want any shoe rot. They will get shoe rot if they're constantly in different temperatures. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. So yeah, these are just some Buckleys, and I did already clean them, and I will be listing those shortly. All right, next is Madewell. I used to pick up Madewell all the time, and then I stopped. I was going to give the shoes a try. I probably shouldn't have, because even though they retail for $100 and they do have real spotted calf fur on them, calf hair, really good condition, I still need to take a white magic eraser if you want to know how to get, you know, this part really white to get the most money. I would love to get 30 instead of 20, and that's going to involve me, you know, using a magic eraser, which I don't mind. The bottoms are excellent, but again, Madewell as a whole, I think the gal who wears Madewell is either going to go into the Madewell store for the whole experience, or they're on Depop, which I am not, and then people on Depop are just kind of cleaning out their closets, and they could probably score them for 10. So here I am on Posh and eBay trying to get 30. So these are size, gosh, it's way down there, guys. Size 5. They're tiny, man. So I don't know, what's done is done. I didn't pull comps. I do not pick up Madewell clothing anymore. And I saw the shoes, and they were just really cool looking. They're just cool. So we'll see. My last are two brands that I used to pick up, and I no longer pick up, and I will probably get about $20 per, and that is Vionic. Vionic retails for like $119, but this is the Vionic Beach line, which is their lower tier, and I think they only retail for, I'm hoping to get 20. I think they only retail for $39. So one is new with tags, and they're black. There we go, new with tags, and these are a size 8, a little rainbow stitching, size 8, and they are brand new. They even still have the paper up there, and I got them. I got them. And the other ones are an 8.5, and so what makes sense that somebody did is they ordered them in each size, and I think that they were probably an 8.5. The 8 was too small, so they could have donated them, but they donated both at the same time. These ones are an 8.5. They're identical to that with little rainbow stitching. They obviously have been worn. Again, I could take the magic eraser and get that dirt off very easily. They're not, you know, dirty inside or anything. They're actually quite clean inside. They're like a real easy slip-on, but what I didn't notice until just now filming this, that's why I love doing these videos, is that someone snipped off the elastic right there. Maybe they had a wide foot, so I may have to return them. So let me just show you. Originally there was elastic, see the elastic right there, oops, elastic, and then that one, no elastic. You know, that's a bummer, that's a bummer. Okay, so let me show you, before I show you the bag that I brought, let me show you my bad buy. So I was excited when I saw these Betsey Johnson bridal pearl rhinestone shoes. They are in good used condition. They do have some staining. They have wear. You could see that the Betsey Johnson is faded. That's a perfect sign. The bottoms look pretty good, you know, pretty good. And I was excited. I looked at them really quick before throwing them in my cart. But this morning when I was getting ready to do all these cleaning, I noticed something that I cannot fix. So that is why they have to go back. Where is it? Let's see here. Must be on this shoe. Okay, here we go. Right there. See that? So the pearls and the beading somehow came loose, and now this, I have shoe glue. I do have shoe glue. And I could technically take the time, put the shoe glue, put a heavy book on here, and let it sit for a couple days, then take pictures. No one's the wiser. But I just don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about then doing that. And I think if I would have said that there was a repair on it in the description, because you know, you want to be honest, then I don't think that they would even sell, because that person would get scared of that shoe glue. Like maybe I didn't do a good job, or the shoe glue, you know, in a couple weeks coming loose, and it's just not worth that hassle, because I do want my customers to be happy with what they get. So these are size 6.5. But they're going back. And my Goodwill, I'm not sure about everybody else's Goodwill, but if you remove the sticker, they won't take it back, even with the receipt. So I do have the receipt here in North Carolina. They're not giving you your money back. They give you a gift card, which is fine because I am a thrifter. So those are going back, and I do believe those other Vionics are going to have to go back. It's a bummer. Now, when I take shoe pictures, I have two options. And yeah, I got these off Amazon. I'm like, did I buy these off Amazon a couple years ago? I'll go ahead and link them in the description. You may already have them. They come in different flesh tones, and I just got the clear. And sometimes people ask you to model the shoe. They just want to see how it looks. Hopefully that's what they want. And so I think that this, there we go. That just kind of, you know, fills in the shoe so it's not all sloppy. Just gives it a nice clean look. And that does very well with these shoes. Now, something else that I have for sandals, which hopefully nobody gets freaked out about, are these kind of like prosthetics. They feel, you know, they feel like skin, basically. They're really pretty. They have a French manicure, and these look really, really nice. Do I have sandals? No, I didn't buy any sandals. They look really, really nice with sandals. Again, someone wants to see what they look like or is asking you to model. Look at that. They look like feet. They feel like feet, guys. Oh my goodness. If someone wants you to model them, I will just stick these in the shoe and send them the picture. You know, I mean, I would assume they know that, you know, no one's feet is this perfect, I don't think, but who's to say? So that is the other option. And again, these are also on Amazon, which I will link them if you want to look at them. All right, so one bag, guys, one bag. I thought it was Coach at first, and I got super excited, but you know what? It almost might be as good as Coach. So this is a vintage, it says right here, made in the USA, and it is a new to me brand, and the brand is called Jack George's. Little key, full size, beautiful, just beautiful. And the Doc Martin leather cleaner cleaned it up really good, and it has the strap, which is really nice. And I saw comps were about 100 if you have the strap and the key, which I do. And I paid $4 for this beauty. And that was it, guys. So for the tail, if you're interested, you could leave the video now because it's kind of sad. The two tails are kind of sad. So if you don't want to be sad, I would say leave. The first tail was while I was actually looking at the pocketbooks and this, there was a lady who was cussing out her 10-year-old boy. And why is because he was asking what time they were going to leave. She went crazy when he asked her that. And then she did smack him, and it was a whole situation. I hated being in it, being right there, because the little boy was crying. He looked about 10 to me, and she was really just hurting his spirit, cussing him really down, like really cussing him down, let's just say. And unfortunately, thankfully, that happens less often. Nowadays, you know, and I think it's just because people know that people are, you know, watching. We have ears, and, you know, I mean, we're always told if you see something, say something, but like, what are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do? Like, if I could have gotten involved and told her, hey, you know, easy with your kid, and then I would have gotten chewed out. So I don't know. It did make me feel really uncomfortable. And even the cashier, when I was being rung up, she even mentioned, hey, did you see back there? And I'm like, yeah, and it made me feel really uncomfortable. And then the other story is when I was looking at the nightwear, a lady's phone rang and she picked it up and put it on speaker. And I don't know who the woman was on the other end, but the other woman was crying, asking her where she was. And she was saying that she was at the Goodwill. And the lady was saying that you're 3 hours away from your house and your husband's dying in the hospital. What are you doing at the Goodwill? And she told that person, whoever it was on the phone, she said, well, I'm shopping. I'm trying to cheer myself up. That's why I'm here shopping. And the lady on the phone was crying and begging her to come back home or to go to the hospital to be with her husband. And it was a whole song and dance going back and forth for probably about 30 minutes. I was in there for about an hour and 20 minutes, which is a lot more was lengthier of a time than I usually try to go in and out in no more than an hour. Back in the days, back in my younger days, I would be able to, I think the longest I've ever been at one Goodwill was 5 hours. And I looked at small, medium, large, extra large, plus size, every hard goods, shoes, everything. And the next day I felt crippled. So no, we're not doing that again. And that was probably maybe about 8 years ago. So yeah, I try to stick to going to my thrift stores 3 times a week and investing about 45 minutes to an hour. So not too bad. So that is it for tails, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, share, and leave me a comment below. And I thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, and bye-bye.